Hey, it's Scotty. So I am going to make this video real quick. I've got to run out and get veggies before I get in trouble with all these guys. And this video might be controversial. Well, actually, I know it is controversial because at the Los Angeles Guinea Pig Rescue, when I'm facilitating adoptions, this has come up a number of times. So let's talk about guinea pigs in the classroom. Now, first off, I want to say, and some of you who have been watching my videos for a while know that if it wasn't for Mrs. Messick and my third grade class, which had a number of guinea pigs, who knows if I would be here right now, if I would be the guinea pig lover that I am. You know, maybe it was just a matter of time and it was inevitable that I was going to fall in love with guinea pigs. But certainly having guinea pigs in my third grade class is what made me even discover them. I can't even think of any situation where I even was aware of the existence of guinea pigs before third grade. Yes, if it wasn't for the guinea pigs in my classroom in third grade, then I probably would never have fallen in love with piggies. I do know that it was during third grade or right after third grade that I adopted my first guinea pigs. Now, the guinea pigs in the classroom had a big cage, and so there was some things that we did right and some things that we did wrong. This was in the 80s, and there just wasn't the same information out there. My first guinea pig was from a rescue. It was from someone's home, and we adopted them. But then I went on to make a whole bunch of mistakes. One of the mistakes that we made was we wanted to have babies. So we got a stud pig from the pet store as a loaner. And I don't know if the piggy that we got actually did get pregnant or was older, but that first piggy that we adopted passed away, and then we got another pig, this time from the pet store, and that piggy with the one that we had several litters, and it may very well be possible that that she had so many litters back to back that made her life shorter. We ended up keeping the boy, and we had the boy and the girl together for pretty much the entire time. And they were also in a very large, but in an aquarium, you know, obviously without water, and it did not have a lid. And there was some decent airflow, but a number of mistakes were made. And now I am doing my best to share proper care and to right my mistakes, and I fully own them, and I am sorry that it happened, that I did not know proper care, but it was a different time, and that's just the way it is. And so I'm hoping now that people who get guinea pigs, even if they're presented bad care information, they eventually will catch my channel, and they will end up on a path to correct the mistakes either that they have made or that they would have made. So that is my mission, is to help animals, especially guinea pigs, and those that care for them. So I hope if that's what you want to do too, you'll support my work by hitting subscribe and liking this video so that it gets out to more people. We can intercept before anyone makes some of these mistakes. So what I want to talk about is guinea pigs in schools, especially guinea pigs living in a classroom 24/7. Now, I don't really think that that is the best way to go, but I think I have a compromise. So let's stick to the end of the video, and I'll present what I think is a great compromise so that kids can experience guinea pigs and animals in the classroom, but without any of the negative consequences, which I think there are quite a few. So if a guinea pig is living in the classroom 24/7, if they are the classroom pet, then that's just it. They're the classroom pet. They're not someone's pet. They're not who is supposed to be taking care of them. Okay? If the guinea pig is there and just lives in the classroom, then that means 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whenever school closes and the teacher goes home, if the guinea pig stays in the classroom, and we're hoping guinea pigs, so we're hoping that there is appropriate, like a pair of boys or a pair or a group of girls, but they're not going to be supervised all evening, all night, and until the teacher gets into the classroom the next day. And that's a lot of time to be unsupervised. Right now, I wouldn't worry so much about food or water because they can be given hay at the end of the day. They can make sure the water bottle and the pellet bowl is full. But when it comes to any kind of emergency, piggies are not feeling well in the middle of the night, something happens, there's not going to be any way to address it until the next morning. And in the morning, that's when the teacher comes in, the students come in, they have a whole day of lesson plans, a classroom full of who knows how many kids. The guinea pigs are going to be not the priority. The priority of a classroom is to teach children, and it should be. And so if there's an animal, a guinea pig, guinea pigs, any pets living in the classroom, they are not the priority. And a pet, an animal, somebody needs to make them a priority at some point, okay? And if in the morning there is an emergency situation, then all of a sudden the lesson plan is disrupted, and I just don't see the opportunity for the teacher to completely cancel the day, the lessons, and make that sick animal a priority. It just doesn't seem very likely, especially with the way public schools, even private schools, are run. I just don't see them having that ability to stop everything and go to the vet. Now, the same may be true for people who are working professionals, adults, and sometimes we are in a situation where, oh, that's it, I have to call sick and work because my pet guinea pig is sick. Some people don't understand that. I'm sure that you guys do understand that. When our piggies, when any pet, when our children, when whoever is sick, we stop what we're doing and we take care of them. That's how it should be. But we don't all have that luxury. And so someone who is working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, they're not going to be around the same as a teacher necessarily. But they have a little bit more flexibility because it's just them. So I do understand that for many people, the guinea pigs are left alone a lot during the day. And that is just a fact of it. And in most cases, that's okay. As long as they have what they need, they don't really need constant supervision. But that is being able to pay attention to them throughout the day and, in the morning and at night. That's how you catch illnesses early. That's what gives them the best chance for survival. So aside from not necessarily being able to spot common illnesses, if you have a bunch of kids in the classroom now, I'm sure there's going to be rules about, when you can and can't interact with the classroom pets. But having a bunch of kids of whatever age, for me it was 3rd grade, but 1st grade, 2nd grade, 5th grade, high school, whatever age, opens up the possibility for accidents. And it also opens up the possibility for injuries, either to the guinea pigs or to the people. And if you are in a classroom and there are animals, the chances that somebody in the classroom may be allergic to either the animals or the hay, that is a possibility. Is it going to be enough to make it be a really big deal? I don't know. But is it fair to children to have potential allergens in the classroom, which, being allergic to Timothy hay is relatively common. And I would imagine in a classroom of 15, 20, 30 kids, somebody's going to be allergic to them. And how much of a discomfort is that going to be? I've talked to people who have a guinea pig in their classroom, and what is customary frequently is that, well, it's a classroom pet, it's not the teacher's pet necessarily, and the guinea pig, in this case, goes home with a different family every weekend. Now, that opens up a whole bunch of potential dangers, potential accidents, and also inconsistent care. And again, who's supposed to take the responsibility if for 2 days every week, right? That's a big percentage of time that these guinea pigs are potentially with families that don't know about common illnesses, that may or may not be giving proper care, that may or may not be exposing these animals to other pets. And is there a vetting system? It's a lot of unknowns. And I don't necessarily think it's fair for these animals that who really is in charge of caring for them? Who is really their caregiver? Who actually really loves them like their own? So that's just my thing. There just seems to be way too many variables and potential instances for accidents. So at the beginning of this video, I said, I think that there is a compromise. I think there's a solution. I think what we want is just like my happy, positive childhood memories, we want to expose kids to animals. We want to foster that passion and compassion for animals, to see them as living, breathing, feeling beings that fosters that sense of love, compassion, that you treat these animals with respect and care, and that it fosters a lifelong love of animals, and that it fosters that ability to love, to care, to see outside of yourself, and to give that love. And I always say, when it comes to the responsibility, you shouldn't adopt a pet to learn responsibility. That responsibility must be in place ahead of time. But it is true that caregiving and these kinds of things, it does foster that sense of responsibility. But at least the teacher should have that responsibility beforehand. So how can we allow these positive benefits of having a guinea pig in the classroom without all the drawbacks, the negative problems, that the potential accidents that we might have by having guinea pigs in the classroom 24/7? Now, I think the answer is that if there's a guinea pig in the classroom, if there are guinea pigs or any animals, these animals, now maybe a fish tank is a little different. We can talk about that in the comments if you would like. But when it comes to whether it's a hamster or a guinea pigs, now generally it's the small animals, so I wouldn't necessarily expect a rabbit to be in the classroom, although before the end of the year in 3rd grade we had a rabbit too. And it was our job to scoop the poop. The rabbit basically hung out under the big TV cart. If you remember back in the day, you had a big TV cart, and that's where our rabbit hung out. But I think the ownership must be the teachers. The teacher, whoever's decided that this animal or these animals are important to be in the classroom, it's theirs. It's their responsibility. They love these animals, and they are not just some accessory, some classroom thing that you have. In the classroom, you have to have the alphabet listed above the chalkboard, right? And you have to have, XYZ you got to have an art easel. You've got to have, you know, you don't have to have an animal. It's not something that you check off as something that is crucial to being in the classroom. But if that is important to you, they are yours, you love them, maybe they just come in once a week or they come in once a month. I feel like the least frequently these animals come in, if the teacher has guinea pigs at home and she loves them, right? And when she goes home, you know, obviously if the teacher, now maybe it could work, she brings them every day, takes them home. That seems like a lot. Now, most people, like I said, working professionals, they might be gone for 8 hours a day. And when she comes home, when she wakes up in the morning, she makes sure her guinea pigs are okay. When she gets home at night, just like all of us that work, we check on our animals. And then maybe every Friday they come in, maybe once a month they come in. The least frequently they come in, the more special it will be. And they can actually make a lesson plan around paying attention to these animals, interacting with them. It's something that the kids can look forward to instead of something that they take for granted, something that they don't even care about. Now, I will say, I really enjoyed having the guinea pigs in the classroom, and it was fun to interact with them every day, and I was really fascinated with them. But was it the best for them? I can't say. Now, I think that they probably were taken care of very well for the time, and I was just a little kid, so I don't know. I do know that they were in a pretty big, probably a Midwest size cage, you know, obviously the minimum size, but I can't speak to how well they were taken care of. Did they die from a common illness that could have been spotted and prevented? Now, they didn't die. The rabbit, the guinea pigs, they lived for probably many more years after I left third grade. So I can't speak to that. But it seems like, knowing what I know now, the chances of a really common illness being missed is very high. And so I think maybe having them actually be the responsibility of and the special pets of the teachers, and they only come in for 1 day a week, 1 day a month, or whatever, only on special occasions. I think that makes a lot more sense. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like I said, this is somewhat controversial, but I think the idea that an animal is a classroom pet and not anyone's special piggy, that upsets me. And the idea that they could get hurt, get injured, be sick because of something that is totally preventable and curable, but just completely missed because they are not a priority in the classroom, that makes me feel awful. So let's continue this down in the comment section below. I'd love to know what you think, and please let me know if you have experience with your piggies or other animals in the classroom. Did that spark your interest and love for animals? And what is the best solution? Am I overreacting? Am I underreacting? Am I trying to find a compromise where there shouldn't be any? Animals just shouldn't be in the classroom. What do you think? All right. Until next time, thanks for watching.